I'm a firefighter. They asked me to shadow a robot doing exactly my job. They said, watch and compare what it does versus your approach and report. I was a disaster. I thought I would observe. I ended up watching myself without the pauses. Shadowing the robot, 2:34 a.m. I watch the system light up. A structure fire call dispatches. The route calculates across the screen. The cursor doesn't hesitate. No checking the wind direction from the window. No mental catalog of which buildings have metal roofs. The robot starts immediately. When I ran these calls, I heard the address and forced myself to think ahead. The adrenaline screamed. I resisted. The robot has no adrenaline to resist. It simply deploys. The data loads. Response time, 4:22 estimated. Personnel, 6 assigned. Water supply, hydrant 400 feet. Equipment, all systems green. The system confirms each parameter in milliseconds. Check, 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 check. When I reviewed these same variables en route, I reviewed them while pulling on gear, visualizing the building, remembering which side faced the street. Not because I missed anything, because slowing my mind revealed what speed concealed. The robot doesn't slow down. It accelerates through certainty. Then, something shifts. The system pauses. Not like I paused, but it pauses. All protocols standard, all equipment ready, but the pattern recognition model activates. I watch it scan the thermal imaging feed. Hot spots in the expected location, but heat signature expanding asymmetrically. Smoke density moderate, but particulate composition changing. I caught this the same way, not from the visible flames, from the smoke color shifting. I called it instinct built from watching buildings transition. The robot calls it thermal expansion rate, inconsistent with reported fire load and ventilation profile. Different language, same warning. Building data loads. The structure looks straightforward. 2-story residential even. When I sized up these buildings, I looked slowly, reading the roofline. These trusses were lightweight construction, added 20 years ago, renovated spaces that changed the load paths, each modification individually permitted. The robot sees it faster. Not because it reads blueprints better, because it's comparing this structure against 9,000 previous fire incidents simultaneously. It recognizes the signature. Renovated buildings with hidden void spaces that burned longer than expected before failing. Collapse probability, 61% higher than baseline. I would have called command here. Shifted strategy. Kept crews exterior until we confirmed stability. Listened to the building creaking. Watched for that subtle sag in the ridge beam. The robot doesn't listen. It calculates. The tactical alert escalates. Not to immediate evacuation, to defensive operation protocol. It restricts interior access. The same call I would have made, the one that makes you second guess when people might be inside. This is where we converge. Response time, 4:18 actual. Water on fire, 5:43. Thermal scan, anomaly detected 6:12. Personnel, 0 interior deployment. I held crews outside on purpose because I learned that buildings lie about when they'll fail. The robot holds crews outside because its training data proved the same thing through repetition. I relied on years of collapses I witnessed. The robot relied on thousands of structural failures it absorbed. The restriction triggers. When I called defensive mode on a residential fire, I worried about the homeowner's reaction, about the fire spread, about the chief asking why I didn't send crews in when the building looked stable. The robot doesn't worry. It simply outputs. Interior operations suspended. Structural failure indicators present. The documentation is cleaner than mine ever was. More direct, less defensive. 14 minutes later, the roof collapses inward. Not because the robot caught something I would have missed, because it caught the same thing I learned to catch, but it caught it without the pressure of possible victims. Without the homeowner screaming, without the 2:34 a.m. fog of knowing every minute counts. Final metrics. Collapse at 16:47 elapsed. 0 interior personnel. 0 injuries. Structure total loss, but contained. I saw failure coming through experience. The robot saw failure through patterns. I learned from years in the smoke. It learned from thousands of buildings that fell. When I watch it work, I'm not watching replacement. I'm watching my instincts, translated into algorithms.